So, you want to watch a Florence video? Well, you're in luck because I have the greatest playing toll nation right over here, This EU4 Florence. And for 10,000 likes, we'll also cover Naples. And let me know in the comment section if you want me to do the second part for Florence where I show the mid-game playing toll moves. There's a variety of reasons why Florence is such an amazing playing toll nation. First off, they do have an actual dedicated mission tree towards playing toll, and their own national ideas are amazing for it since you start with -10 dev cost reduction from day one, as well as idea and tech cost reduction, interest per annum, trade and production efficiency boost, and even manpower and discipline, so you have some military boosts as well. Aside from that, you also start in the Genoese trade node, which is one of 3 end trade nodes alongside the Venetian and the Channel nodes. And if you filter in trade from the colonial side and from the Asian side into Genoa, you can make this insanely powerful and you can get really rich from that as consequence. Now we can do our first 2 missions here before we even unpause the game. All we gotta do for this one is just get 12 Diplo points per month. So we're gonna focus on Diplo, get an advisor, and we're also gonna give out the +1 Diplo points. In fact, we're gonna give out all 3 of the +1 mana privilege points. Summon the Diet, go for whichever agenda best suits us as well. Supremacy over the council. Religious diplomats is gonna help us with getting some allies at the start. Patronage of the arts, of course. And we're also gonna be increasing our stability to 1 stability. We're doing this so we actually get the passive prosperity in our provinces. You need to have at least 1 stability to get the prosperity, and once you do get the prosperity unlocked, you get another -10 development cost reduction from these provinces. We also start with the Santa Maria del Fiore monument, which gives up to -20% advisor cost reduction, as well as prestige decay and monthly splendor, so it is an amazing monument for those that enjoy playing toll as well. Now that we've done all that, we can do personal diplomacy. To do the second mission, which offers claims on everybody around us, we just need 2 allies in the Italian peninsula. The Milanese are a great option. You would not be able to ally the Milanese unless you did the religious diplomats that I gave out earlier. And also note that they sometimes can also rival you, so it is a little bit RNG. It doesn't matter who you ally, you just need 2 allies with their capital in the Italian peninsula, which means you can do the second mission. And now we got claims on everybody around us here. So our initial targets are going to be Bologna, Ferrara, Siena, and Lucca. We will attack whichever nation does not have a super strong alliance set. Apparently, we also got rivaled by the Papal States. That happens a lot. If they decide to excommunicate us, we can just buy indulgence, and that negates the excommunication, so it's not really a big deal. Gonna get our rivals also. Gonna go for Siena, Lucca, and Ferrara as well, since it would be amazing to get this area in the early game. Don't forget to also seize the crownlands, and after you did 1 stability, you can give out the -25% advisor cost reduction privileges for all 3 of your estates. And we also start with Mr. Donatello, which is a +3 admin advisor that's 50% cheaper, which scales with the other bonuses, so it's actually 85% cheaper to hire this guy, so 100% worth it. That means we start with 12, 9 mana per month, which is more than any other nation in EU4 at the beginning. We're gonna need some more money, so we're also gonna give out the burger loans. That is 1% interest loans, so we're paying almost nothing back in interest. We also need to slacken recruitment because we do start with 5% army professionalism. You want to recruit the free company as you want to attack your neighbors from the first month of the game. Sadly, Lucca allied the Savoyans, and I'm not gonna fight Savoy for the province of Lucca, even though this is really valuable since it is a natural harbor, and that means more trade power in the Genoese trade node, which we want. However, Siena does not have any allies, so we're gonna attack Siena, and in 1 month we're gonna attack Bologna. If we're lucky, they also don't get any allies, but normally by the 2nd month of the game, Bologna or somebody else gets an ally, so it's super RNG. Keep that in mind. Forgot to get a general. That is a little bit of my fault right there. Regardless, we were lucky. We won that battle, so let's head on back to Firenze so we get ready for the war against Bologna. Come on, few more days. No alliance, please. I beg of you. Okay, 11th of December. No allies for Bologna. That means we can attack them. This time we're going to get a general, of course. There you go. And make sure we shift consolidate our troopers. neighbors, and eine Uda Vapenicum. All we gotta do now is just chill for a little while and wait until we can annex both of these provinces. Take note, at the beginning we are a part of the Holy Roman Empire, so it's gonna be a little bit more expensive to take the province of Siena, but Bologna is not a part of the empire. I highly recommend you get spy networks in whatever countries you're attacking. This will give you a bit of a siege ability boost and make it a little bit faster to siege those provinces. Oh boy, that's gonna kill off our fleet, so let's get our diplomat back and try and peace them out before they do destroy our fleet here. Do not want that to happen. Thank you very much. Daria go. Siena is out. And take note, it's actually vital once Renaissance spawns that we use that get faceting in the province of Siena, since it is a glass province. After you get your first couple of lands, you really want to gun for the city of Genoa, which is the highest trade power city in the Genoese trade node, and it's just an amazing city to have. Sadly, in my case, the RNG did not help much because they allied Austria, so now it's going to be close to impossible to get this province without fighting Austria, so we'll keep that on the side for the time being. Instead, we're going to try and gun for Ferrara. We can ask the Milanese to join in and they can help us out against the Papal State. Bologna seems to be finito. Before we do peace them out, we're going to attack Ferrara. And why are we doing this? We're doing it because if we are at peace, then the Emperor is going to ask us for unlawful territory, especially since we are not allied to them. And we got another Vapenicum. We also can peace out Bologna. I'm also going to try and wipe out the Papal State's vassals armies and the Papal State's armies. I'm keeping one unit behind here in Ferrara just so the Milanese don't take control of the siege, and then I cannot peace them out myself. Holy schnitzel, Donatello, my boy, you're giving us 1 stability or 50 prestige. I'm actually gonna go for the stability. I could push for 100% in the Papal States war, but I didn't co-belligerate them, so I cannot take any land, so it's useless in any case. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna make them cancel their alliance with Austria, which is actually really vital, and all the money that I can take from them, more than enough in my situation here. And now all I gotta do is wait for the 1,000 units that I have here to siege down Ferrara alongside the Milanese army. The Papal States be like, oh, you took my money, I excommunicado you, sir. Well, you know what, Papalunstaten? I'm gonna buy some indulgence and then you cannot excommunicado me anymore. There you go, we lost the effect of excommunication. Another event that I can get some stability for. Seems a little bit weird that it took us almost 1,000 days to siege down Ferrara, but that's mainly because we were not really sieging it down at the beginning of this war. We got two options. We can either vassalize Ferrara, which is not a bad idea actually, but I am instead going to fully annex them, and hear me out on this. It is a little bit more aggressive expansion, however, it's the same countries in the coalition against us, but by fully annexing them, I have an easier time attacking Mantua, and I also have an easier time expanding it to Venice afterwards. I plan on getting some vassals in Lucca, and I might try to diplo-vassalize the nation of Saluzzo. That being said, we did a lot of expansion in just the first 5 years, and we are on the threshold of a coalition. 46 aggressive expansion, 53 and so on with our neighbors, and we did expand super quickly and aggressively at the beginning because for the next 10 years we will not be expanding anymore. We'll chill, develop our nation, and after our aggressive expansion is low enough, we're gonna start expanding a second time. The great part about having a lot of cities in the Italian peninsula is it increases the chances of Renaissance actually spawning in one of these, and in our case it spawned in our capital of Firenze. We also can get our second reform, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get a couple of loans so we can actually adopt the Renaissance. Getting Renaissance also unlocks a ton of missions here for us. In fact, we can even do this mission once we get 60 loyalty with the nobility, and we can also get the tech ahead of time. As Florence, it's really easy to get 100 innovativeness. And remember what I was saying earlier, we just spawned faceting in Siena, which turned this into a gems province, and it essentially massively increased our income right now. We're also in the process of building some more light ships. We want to have at least 15 light ships in the Genoese node at the beginning. And we already can get our first idea set. Obviously, guys, I recommend you go for quantity ideas. We'll follow this up with economic ideas as our second idea set and trade as our third. 7 years of the game, we already got 24 innovativeness. That is absolutely insane. We are the first nation to achieve every single one of the technologies. Look at this, boys. We're ahead of everybody so much that everybody else in the world is red, technologically speaking, compared to us. And this is an Iron Man game. And you can also find the save game on my Patreon. Link is in the description. We gave it a few years of waiting for the AE to go down, so now we're gonna attack Venice, set Padova as the main war target, and we're also gonna be co-belligerating Mantova. We will call into the war whoever we can. We can promise the Austrians some land, I guess. Not sure if I'm gonna deliver anything, but we can promise. That's about it for the Mantoese troops. So I also recommend before you start the war that you set your diplomatic feedback so other countries in that war know what provinces you're interested in. And I also recommend you try and go for these provinces yourself before anybody else. Ooh, Ami Tradition. I am super okay with the Milanese taking over Brescia and Bergamo. I would not mind actually making a bigger Milan, so I have a bit of a challenge for myself in the mid-game around me. And by mid-game I mean late 1400s, of course. Pretty much all of the allies of Venice except Mantova we're basically gonna use as piggy banks, so that means take all their money, war reparations, transfer trade power, as well as cancel any significant alliances that they might have for a little bit of prestige and also to do a little bit of mischief. And this right here is why I love playing as Florence. We already have close to maximum diplomana points, and we're already 8 years ahead of time with our diplotech, so we can just invest these mana points in developing our provinces. Make sure you have the encourage development edict, and then after, boost these boyos up. Remember that production development increases both your trade and your actual production income, so it's of course preferred to always develop your production. When it comes to Tellia, however, I prefer to give him off to Austria if they're interested, because Tellia's annoying. They always join trade leagues that I'm fighting against, and they always join coalitions and even trigger them once in a while. Aggressive expansion is going to be a little bit of an issue, so that's why I'm actually going to make Mantua my vassal, because by making them my vassal I can take a few extra provinces from the Venetians. A big battalion is happening in the province of Zeta, and we won that. We had 1,000 of our units, but we have pretty much the entire alliance set attached, and one more battalion in this province as well. Another one battle. So we got all the war score we need now to take as much land as we want. I like how they're cowering in the province of Naxos. Hey, look at that, boys. The Shadow Kingdom just triggered. That's great news for us because it means less aggressive expansion. I think it's time we do our peace deal. I'm gonna give these two provinces over to Milan because I'm such an amazing ally, and I'm taking the 3 provinces in Italy, plus I'm taking Negropont as well. It's more than enough, and it's not a massive coalition, just a few insignificant nations. And let's go with this exact peace deal here. Noise. Now that we got Negropont, we can get a claim and attack Byzantium and vassalize them. So everybody left the HRE with the exception of Genoa, which is allied to Austria, and myself. I am gonna stay a part of the HRE for the time being. So the reason I'm doing this is because I do not get submission to the Emperor because I am also allied to the Austrians with the Emperor. But if I ever have to cancel the alliance, then I can just leave the HRE. For the time being, I'm keeping this as my ace up my sleeve, so if anybody attacks me from outside the HRE, the Emperor is gonna come to help me. And that essentially means that despite this coalition of basically everybody in Italy happening, if they do trigger, they have to fight a ton of nations to actually do anything against me. I'm also gonna get a royal marriage with the Burgundians, and I also got an alliance with them. Our beloved de Medici is passing away, so we gotta choose another leader. Of course, I'm gonna go for one of his cousins, which is a 632, rather than going for a regular boyo, which is definitely not as Chad as this guy is. We had to wait for a few years, but eventually the Ottomans did attack the Byzantines, and I waited intentionally for the Ottomans to attack the Byzantines because I'm gonna vassalize them. In order to vassalize them, all I need is the capital fort that they have in Moria, so it's okay if they take a few adjacent provinces. By vassalizing them, I'm gonna be set up in a defensive war, and that means every single one of my allies, including Poland, Austria, Hungary, is gonna join in that war. So I need to bring my boys outside of the Byzantine lands before I do vassalize them. Looks like everyone also left the coalition against us. We got our troops to safety, and that means it is time to vassalize Byzantium. Daria, go. We can vassalize Ski, and we can even get some money. We can get 2.8 ducats. We are ridiculously rich, but But by vassalizing them, we take charge in the war against the Ottomans as they attacked our vassal, and that means we can call into war every single one of our allies because this is a defensive war. So let's see the Ottomans win against basically half of Europe. I'm literally allied to everybody around them. Ah, yes, run my minions. Take over all of the Ottoman infidel lands. The fact that the Ottomans built so many extra forts in the Balkans like the one in Kestria is a bit annoying, but at the same time it helps us because this is easier for us to get the war score that we need to peace them out faster. One more thing we're gonna do is we're gonna expand infrastructure in Siena. We're doing it in Siena because this province already has faceting modifier. It's a gems province, so by expanding infrastructure here, it might be expensive when it comes to governing costs, but it's 100% worth it because it makes this province even more valuable. We can also do it in our capital of Firenze as well, and a few other high valuable provinces like Genoa, Milan, etc. once we get these provinces, as long as we don't go over our governing capacity, obviously. This war's been dragging on for quite a while. The reality is that most of the allies have peaced out, except Austria, the one that I want to peace out because they got two of their provinces occupied, and as such, they're giving a lot of war score to the Ottomans. But the Ottomans are about to take this fort, and I'm not in the mood to wait for another 5 years to re-siege that, so I'm gonna peace out for these provinces here. This is more than enough for me. It doesn't hurt the Ottomans too much, but it does hurt them a little bit, and the fact that we occupied the Balkans for like 7 years or something really destroyed their economy. I'm also peacing out because I need to continue my wars in the Italian peninsula. I've waited for far too long in that particular war in the Ottoman lands. Let's make Naples our next rivalen, start them off with a scornful insult as well, and ferry our boyos back home to good old Firenze. Mantua was integrated, and I think it is about time we declare on the Venetians. I'm just gonna bring my troopers over to the border before we... Okay, looks like change of plans, everybody. Looks like I'm joining to Austria's defensive wars because they just PU'd Bohemia, and as a consequence, I have to fight half of Europe now. Alright, well, that takes me back a few years, I guess. And it also cancels my alliance with my good ally, Hungary, sadly. But I mean, that's just what EU4 is at the end of the day. You gotta mold yourself on whatever RNG you get, right? You will eventually get the Pazzi conspiracy event, and you got two options. You can either put the Pazzi in charge of the country and your leader dies, or you give away a big chunk of your crown lands, and from now on, every time you re-elect a candidate from the Medici, it's not gonna cost any Republican tradition, which is amazing because that means we don't need to worry about losing one of the most valuable modifiers that republics have, the tradition. I used the downtime to also get relations with Trento, and now we can diplo-vassalize them, and they were allied to the Milanese. Now they're not allied to the Milanese anymore, so that means Milan has no allies because this is my vassal. Let's declare our war. We're gonna go for as many provinces as we can take from Milan. The main goal is to take Parma because that way we can do our mission, and then we get claims on the remainder of the Milan area, basically all of Lombardy and the Po Valley. Man, really again, 0 followed by a 0 followed by another 0. Are you serious? 3 zeros in a row, and then okay, I got some good rolls and we got the reinforcements, so we're gonna win this. Just a little bit disappointed with the dice roll situation. We could actually take a lot of land from the Milanese. In fact, we could likely take even Milan itself without too much of a coalition. There you go. I could literally do this now, and that's not any sort of a coalition at all. But I'm not taking any of these. I'm getting almost no coalition right here because I'm gonna attack Venice, and I want to take the rest of Venice in Italy. This is a fairly decent deal. Now let's go by the border with the Milanese. I'm also gonna disband my mercs because they're not actually useful anymore. And let's declare our Wario, set Treviso as the war target, and let's go. They actually hired the free company, or sorry, they hired the Reichslaufe, which I'm gonna instantly stack wipe right now. Oh, they did hire the free company as well in the province of Zara, actually. Arrivederci, Reichslauter. And another mercenary company. This was, I didn't even read this one. They hired a lot of mercs, because clearly they don't have the manpower to fight me. Actually, there's a bit of an issue. They don't have any forts except the fort in Venice, so I need to get more ships and get naval supremacy. Arrivederci, free company. Ecco ma. Looks like we can also catch the main Venetian army, which made the mistake of getting out of Venice City. And yeah, boys are gonna be deadski very soonski. They're probably gonna retreat into Venice itself. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to crush the Venetian fleet. Baba dabba doo. Actually, did that give us the war score? It did! We got the war score. There you go. We even can get a little bit of cash and no more problemski. And the next war will take Venice itself, but until then we have to build a proper fleet to actually be able to get onto Venice. And we'll also be focusing on the rest of Milan and the Genoese lands. Time for another session of building workshops around the country. Oh boy, that's amazing. We just got the National Bank event, which offers a ton of money and all the goodies here. That means we can build even more stuff, including maybe some barracks to increase our manpower, and of course more workshops. I love me my workshop. Nothing better than seeing the entirety of your country having a particular building being built. Guess what? Austria cucks me again. They declared another war and called me in once more just as I was about to attack Lucca that I need in order to get the absolute trade power that I want from the Tuscan area. What? We just became the courier controller? No freaking way, dude. Oh my god, that is insane. That essentially is basically a golden ticket to excommunicating everybody. Plus, we can do another mission here, the control of the church and Academy of the Brand, which offers +1 diplomats and prestige DK -2% until the end of the game. This is massive because this, together with the monument, means that we will always have 100 prestige. Look at this, we got 97 prestige and we're still gaining prestige per month. We're not losing any. So it's a golden ticket to always have 100, which is insane. That means better armies, better trade power, better navies, less aggressive expansion, and so on. And now that we're the courier controller, we also get -20% aggressive expansion extra, as well as advisor cost reduction. So our advisors are ridiculously cheap, and we're also making 26 ducats profit while fielding 28,000 units. Just from production and trade alone, we're making a massive amount, and this is going to scale up so much more after we finish our economic ideas. And once we do finish this economic idea, it means that we can start developing our lands like crazy. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought initially, because Genoa, the ally of Austria, is in the same war we're in right now, so it means I can attack Lucca without having to worry about Genoa. I just need to worry about Savoy and the Papal States. Savoy also being my allies. But hey, I guess it's time to get new allies, isn't it, boyos? Looks like we might be able to snipe out the Papal States' entire army because they're trapped on the island of Venice. Dariago. Let's go back now and siege down Rome. We're really taking advantage of the war against Lucca to cancel the alliances that the Papal States also has. So in the next war against them, we can directly attack them without having to fight random nations like Britannia and schnitzels like that. Finally, with the out, we can do our mission, which is going to grant us even more claims on the rest of the Milanese lands. So in the next war, it's going to be easy peasy lemon sakawaese. Also, we're going to be attacking Naples next, even though they're allied to France. Not a big deal. I can take France and Naples on. Considering that I've just unlocked my playing toll ideas, I now can develop provinces for 11 mana points. Look at this, boys. 11 mana points. Or like 17 mana points for provinces that I've already developed 4 times and so on. Let's try and get all of our provinces to 20 development. We also bypassed the Austrian alliance that Genoa has by attacking Venice instead, and we're going to take Corsica from them, as well as we're going to cancel their alliance with Naples and with Austria and even Lithuania, because apparently they also allied the entirety of the world. Take their money also, and booyah shnakaboo. We're going to go for the city of Venice, and because we can still take a bit of AE, I'm actually going to take the coastline here. Having Ragusa is not so bad, considering that it's going to pump in some more trade from the Ragusan area into my main trade nodes. Maybe a little bit of money as well. No, apparently that's pretty much it. No money. That's fair. That is absolutely fair for me. We are continuously building even more buildings. We now started building all the courthouses. We have them in almost every province that we have right now, and courthouses lower the autonomy by default, as as well as lower the governing costs so we can afford having expand infrastructure in more provinces. Because our economy is so amazing, we can diplo-vassalize anybody around us, and we just diplo-vassalize Bosnia, which has a ton of amazing juicy cores. Also, boys, look at this. We're making 46 ducats as profit, and we just started our snowball. This is gonna end up being about 1,000 ducats in 100 years by just having the Italian peninsula and deving it up to crazy amounts. And that onto itself is why Florence, in my opinion, is the best playing toll nation. Not only does it have amazing ideas and missions, it also has the best trade nodes at the start, both Venice and Genoa, and as you can see, we got a pretty sizable chunk of this. In fact, if I really want to, I could change this to protect trade, and that's gonna give me a lot more chunk of the trade node. There you go. By setting the protect trade, we got an extra few percentage on both of the nodes. 10,000 likes for that awesome Naples guide, and check out this amazing Portugal video. Until the next time.